At first, it looked like just another storm. But then the winds grew louder, the skies darker, and within hours, Typhoon Opong turned into a nightmare no one saw coming. Typhoon Opong arrived with the kind of force that changes lives overnight. At first, it was just another weather update, another storm forming over the sea. But as hours passed, the warnings turned into reality. Winds picked up, rain poured endlessly, and soon destruction followed. In Masbate, the damage was beyond what anyone had braced for. The provincial government had no choice but to declare a state of calamity. The Sangguniang Panlalawigan approved the measure in a special session, recognizing the scale of the disaster. Families had been torn from their homes, and lives were lost. Governor Richard Kho admitted the situation was worsening by the hour. He said more than 16,000 families, or over 57,000 individuals, had already been affected, and the numbers would still climb as more reports came in. The typhoon battered Masbate with unrelenting winds and rain. Homes collapsed, power lines fell, and roads were blocked. Agriculture was wiped out, leaving farmers with nothing. Fisherfolk lost their boats, their only source of livelihood. Essential services broke down, making survival even harder. 7 people had died. The governor explained that they needed urgent help: food, clean water, medical assistance, shelter, and power. Being an island province, Masbate struggled to bring in supplies quickly. Relief packs were being distributed, but demand was overwhelming. Displaced families had no roofs over their heads, and rebuilding seemed almost impossible without outside support. Kho also appealed for long-term help, especially for farmers and fisherfolk, who would need months to recover their livelihoods. Meanwhile, the storm was not done. According to Pagasa, Opong continued to maintain its strength as it moved westward over the Philippine Sea. It had sustained winds of 110 kilometers per hour near its center, and gusts reaching 135 kilometers per hour. Its central pressure was measured at 980 hectopascal, strong enough to uproot trees and rip roofs off houses. Opong was capable of triggering flash floods and landslides. The rains were moderate to heavy, sometimes intense, and the winds ranged from strong to gale force. Bicol, northern Samar, eastern Samar, Biliran, Marinduque, Romblon, and Quezon were under threat. Metro Manila, central Luzon, and Calabarzon also braced for heavy rains and flooding. Coastal communities faced storm surges within 36 hours, with risks of waves crashing into homes and farmlands. Then came the bigger question: would Opong become a full typhoon before hitting land?
Holy shit.
Pagasa confirmed that landfall was expected over northern Samar in the early morning of September 26th, followed by Bicol later that day. The agency warned that Opong could reach typhoon status by then. Even if it weakened while crossing the archipelago, it would still be strong enough to bring severe damage. Once over the West Philippine Sea, re-intensification was highly likely. Disaster officials urged residents to evacuate if needed and follow instructions from local leaders. For people living in high-risk areas, leaving home was no longer a choice. It was survival. As Opong's arrival neared, Malacanang stepped in. Work in government offices and classes at all levels were suspended in Metro Manila and nearby provinces starting September 26th. Essential agencies providing health, emergency, and rescue services were told to keep operating. Safety was the priority. Class suspensions stretched across cities and provinces. In Manila, Marikina, Parañaque, Quezon City, Caloocan, Las Piñas, Muntinlupa, Mandaluyong, and Pateros, schools shut down. In Cavite, Batangas, Laguna, and Rizal, the same story unfolded, with towns like San Mateo, Tanay, Taytay, in Morong, closing classrooms. In Bicol, Camarines Norte towns like Labo, Talisay, and Vinzons, as well as the whole of Masbate, joined the list. Families stayed home, waiting, listening to the sound of the winds and rain pounding their communities. On September 27th, the storm shifted again. Opong re-intensified into a typhoon over the West Philippine Sea. From 110 kilometers per hour, its sustained winds rose to 120 kilometers per hour. Gustiness reached 150 kilometers per hour. Though it was moving west-northwest, it slowed slightly, still pushing forward at 30 kilometers per hour. By dawn, it was already 505 kilometers west of Indang, Cavite, moving away from land but leaving behind destruction. Pagasa announced that rainfall had lessened for provinces like Palawan, Occidental Mindoro, Oriental Mindoro, Batangas, and Cavite. But scattered rains and thunderstorms still hit Metro Manila, Central Luzon, Calabarzon, Ilocos, and Mimaropa. In western Visayas, Negros Island, and Zamboanga Peninsula, the rains continued because of the southwest monsoon that Opong had enhanced. The threat of floods and landslides lingered.
Damn, let's read it inside.
The storm signals also shifted. Signal number 2 was lifted, but signal number 1 remained in several provinces like Pangasinan, Zambales, Bataan, Cavite, Batangas, Occidental Mindoro, and the Calamian Islands. People there still felt the strong winds. At its peak, typhoon signal number 4 had been raised in some areas, marking one of the strongest warnings. Even as Opong pulled away, its effects stayed. Strong winds battered Luzon, while the enhanced southwest monsoon kept dragging moisture into the skies, fueling more rainfall. Storm surge threats dropped to minimal to moderate, but still dangerous. Pagasa warned of surges 1 to 2 meters high along coasts in Zambales, Bataan, Cavite, Batangas, Occidental Mindoro, and Palawan. For coastal families already reeling from the storm, this was one more danger to guard against. For the people of Masbate and other hard-hit provinces, Opong will not be remembered as just another typhoon. It was a storm that took lives, destroyed homes, and stripped livelihoods in a matter of hours. Recovery will take time, and the call for help remains urgent. Relief goods, medical care, and shelter are needed now. But beyond survival, people need assurance that life will return to normal, that farmers will plant again, and fisher folk will sail again. Nobody was ready for this. It started small. Then it grew into something bigger. Typhoon Opong left behind not just damage, but also a reminder of how vulnerable communities are to nature's power. As it exited the Philippine area of responsibility on September 27, it carried away its rains and winds, but its impact stayed. In the silence after the storm, families looked at the ruins of their homes, farmers at their destroyed fields, and children at their flooded schools. Life was changed. The storm had passed, but its story had only just begun. The story of survival, rebuilding, and hope. Please note that some footage in this video is for illustrative purposes and may not depict the exact events described. Thank you for watching and stay safe.